Welcome back to another scary story written and performed by yours truly. If your radio ever turns on by itself, don't listen to what it says. It started at 2:47 a.m. I know because I couldn't sleep. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling when I heard the soft crackle of static. It was faint at first, like a distant television with bad reception, but the sound was coming from my nightstand. My old radio. I hadn't touched that thing in months. The plug wasn't even in the wall, or at least it shouldn't have been. I sat up and squinted in the dark. The little red power light was glowing. My first thought was that maybe I'd knocked the cord loose and it had reconnected somehow. I leaned closer. And that's when I heard it. A whisper. My name. Not loud, not clear. Just buried under the static like someone was talking through snow on an old TV. I froze. The voice repeated my name, slower this time, as if savoring each syllable. My chest tightened. "Hello," I said. My voice cracked. For a second there was only static. Then 3 words. "Don't move." The air in the room seemed to thicken. I felt this prickling sensation run up my spine like I was being watched. I turned, scanning every shadow, every corner. Empty. The voice returned, a little clearer now. "I can see you." My mouth went dry. I told myself it had to be a prank, maybe a neighbor's signal bleeding through on some weird frequency. But I live alone. My nearest neighbor is 3 miles away. Before I could think further, the voice spoke again. "You left your back door unlocked." My stomach dropped. That door had been locked since last night. I knew it was locked. Grabbing my phone, I turned on the flashlight and crept toward the kitchen. Every step seemed louder than it should have been. When I reached the back door, my heart nearly stopped. It was wide open. The cold night air poured in. The smell of wet leaves filled my nostrils. My flashlight beam shook as I swept it across the yard. Nothing. No footprints, no movement. The radio still crackled from the bedroom. I was halfway to shutting the door when I heard another sound. Footsteps, not outside, inside, coming from the living room. I froze. The voice on the radio whispered again, but this time it wasn't soft. It was right in my ear. "Behind you." I spun around. No one was there. My pulse was so loud I could barely hear anything else. I slammed the door shut, locked it, and backed toward my room. When I got back, the radio was silent. I stared at it, waiting. A full minute passed. Then, without warning, the static came roaring back, like someone had turned the volume to max. Through the noise, the voice was laughing. It was slow, deliberate, mocking. Then the laugh stopped. "Check your photos." I didn't want to, but my hand moved on its own, lifting the phone. My gallery app was open, though I know I didn't touch it. There was a new photo. It was me, asleep, taken from the foot of my bed. My breathing turned sharp, shallow. My hands were trembling so bad I almost dropped the phone. The radio whispered again, quieter now, almost sweet. "Do you want to see me?" I shook my head even though I knew it couldn't see me. Could it? The static deepened, a low rumble that felt like it was vibrating inside my chest. The lights flickered, and in that split-second flash, there was a figure, standing next to the radio. Tall. Too tall. Head bent forward at an impossible angle. When the lights came back, it was gone. The static died. The room was silent. I thought maybe, just maybe, it was over. But then my phone buzzed in my hand. A text. From my own number. It read, "Stop looking behind you." I hadn't even realized my eyes were already drifting to the dark corner of my room. And there, just barely visible in the faint glow from the radio light, something was moving. This concludes part 1 of The Whisper in the Static. So what do you think? What do you think happened to me? Where did that voice come from? What about the shadowy figure lurking in the corner? You want to find out what happens next? Well, then click here to continue the story in part 2. Don't worry, you don't need to watch part 1 to understand part 2. It'll all make sense. Or if you're one of those people who likes to watch things in order, Well then, click here to go back to part 1. And remember, if your radio ever turns on by itself, don't listen to what it says. Part 2 continues right now.